What up, YouTube? What up? What up? What up, YouTube? What up with you? What up, YouTube? What up? What up? What up, YouTube? I'm back again with another live video, and still up. It's about what 3:34 a.m. I am up bored, so I just decided to scroll through these little platforms or whatever, and I was looking at this damn page. Um, I was looking at this Instagram page called Exclusive Mafia underscore, and it says True Crime Channel for entertainment purposes only, daily crime news, everything is alleged, exclusive documentaries. Subscribe now. Well, they even got a YouTube channel. I'll subscribe to it and see what it's giving. They got YouTube, a Patreon, and a website. Well, hopefully they don't try to get me for copyright, and I don't own copyrights or anything, but I did want to read up on some stories that they be posting about. Seem pretty interesting. So the only reason why I decided to read up on it because I seen the picture of Denzel Washington, and I'm like, what the hell? So hold on. So one of the stories I've seen is this one right here. And it says Antonio Perez was born on August. So, and I'm guessing Denzel Washington probably was playing him in Training Day because that's what that picture looked like. As if Denzel Washington was playing him in Training Day. So it says Rafael Antonio Perez was born on August 22nd, 1967 in Humaco, Puerto Rico, and moved to the mainland U.S. as a child. Raised in New Jersey and Philadelphia, Perez joined the U.S. Marine Corps out of high school in 1985 and served until 1989. Shortly after, he joined the Los Angeles Police Department and began what initially appeared to be a promising law enforcement career. But beneath the badge, Perez would soon become one of the most infamous cops in American history. Yes, I'm good. Denzel Washington portrayed him in or a character close to him in Training Day, because I remember that picture very well, and I watched the movie multiple times. I even had the DVD. Anyway, in the early 1990s, Perez was transferred to the Rampart Art Division Elite Crash Unit, Community Resources Against Street Hoodlums, a gang suppression squad known for its aggressive tactics. Fluent in Spanish and street smart, Perez quickly earned a reputation as a go-getter, but behind closed doors, Crash operated more like a criminal enterprise than a police unit. Officers regularly planted evidence, filed false reports, brutalized suspects, and celebrated police shootings like trophies. Perez did not participate, he thrived. Perez didn't just participate, he thrived. I'm sorry. In 1996, Perez and his partner Nico Dordan shot and paralyzed 19-year-old gang member Javier Ovando, or Ovando, whatever his name is. Javier? Is it Javier? Okay, I'm gonna just say Javier Ovando. To cover it up, they planted a gun on him and filed a false report claiming Ovando tried to ambush them. Ovando was sentenced to 23 years in prison until the truth came out. The shooting and frame up were just the tip of the iceberg. In 1998, Perez was arrested after being caught stealing 6 pounds of cocaine from an LAPD evidence locker. The thief, worth around $800,000 on the street, was brazen, and Perez faced a long prison term. Instead, he struck a deal with prosecutors. He would cooperate in exchange for a reduced sentence. What followed was a bombshell. Okay, he exposed widespread corruption in the LAPD's crash unit, implicating nearly 70 officers and leading to over 100 overturned convictions and $125 million in payouts. Though held as a whistleblower, many questioned his motives and tied him to deeper crimes, including the unsolved murder of the notorious B.I.G. He served time for cocaine theft and civil rights violations, then changed his name to Ray Lopez and vanished from the spotlight. Oh, wow. And then people posting shit from Training Day. And I said, this is who Training Day was loosely based on. Okay. So, let's see about Training Day. Since people are posting Denzel Washington's picture, as if anybody ain't already see the movie. So, yeah. Okay, so Training Day is a movie. It stars a lot of different people: Dr. Dre, Eva Mendes, Scott Glenn, Snoop Dogg, Cliff Curtis, Macy Gray, and many others. Some I know, some I don't know. Um, it says a television series based on the film produced by Jerry Bruckheimer was announced in August 2015, premiered on February 2nd, 2017 on CBS. Only. Okay, so the show was canceled after one season. That sucks. No, I ain't about to read all this. This is a lie. I remember this movie. I'm pretty sure. I mean, all of this, I mean, everything the movie was about is loosely based on that situation with this Rafael Perez guy. They just switched the story up. I don't know. All right, this is just okay. This is somebody else. This is just a bunch of crime stories. Hold on. Yeah, this is somebody else. This is just a bunch of crime stories. This one talk about a guy by the name of Richard Maserati Rick Carter Sr. He said he wasn't just a Detroit drug dealer, he was a street icon whose life blurred the line between gangster and celebrity. Please excuse me, y'all. I'm not trying to steal nobody copyright. I just found some of this interesting, so I just wanted to do a YouTube about different stuff I'll be looking at on Instagram and maybe TikTok. So okay, he wasn't just a drug dealer; he was a street icon whose life blurred the line between gangster and celebrity. Born July 31st, 1951, 1959, on Detroit's east side, Rick got his start boosting cars as a teenager before leveling up into a drug trade in the early '80s. By the time he hit his 20s, he was pushing serious weight, heroin, and later crack cocaine, earning millions alongside his close friend and business partner, Demetrius Holloway. Whoa. What separated Rick from other dealers wasn't just his money, but his style. He rocked designer clothes, kept a fleet of foreign cars, including the Maserati that gave him his name, and was always seen clean cut and cool under pressure. He was one of the first in Detroit to mix street credibility with the kind of charisma that made him a neighborhood star. He even gave back to the community, hosting block parties and handling outcast kids while maintaining ties with the infamous Best Friends gang, a fear crew known for murder for hire. But that flashy life came with a price. In 1988, a war erupted between Maserati Rick and rival gang figures, including Big Ed Hansard. That summer, Rick was ambushed by in a shooting at his own car wash, taking multiple bullets to the body while recovering at MT Carmel Hospital, or whatever MT is for, Carmel Hospital. His enemies finished the job. Gunmen disguised as doctors walked into room 307 and executed him in cold blood on September 12, 1988. So is that who that YouTube video was talking about? I just seen the video talk about somebody was shot and they went to the hospital and killed them. So is this who that video was talking about? Cause I swear I just seen the video that was similar to this. I just ain't click on it. Talk about somebody that was shot and then they went to the hospital and finished the job. What kind of shit is this? So yeah, his enemies finished the job. Gunmen disguised as doctors walked into room 307 and executed him in cold blood on September 12, 1988. Rick's funeral was legendary. He was laid to rest in a customs $16,000 casket shaped like a Mercedes Benz, complete with spinning rims, chrome trim, and a crushed velvet interior. True to his flamboyant image, thousands came out to mourn him. He was buried in Elmwood Cemetery, leaving behind a legacy that lives on in Detroit street lore and hip hop lyrics. He's been referenced by artists like Baldy James, and his life is often compared to that BMF boss Big Meech, flashy, fearless, and ultimately betrayed by the same streets that made him a king. Damn. And I guess it's people telling their stories. Somebody said my pops. Someone said let's make a movie. Detroit level. I'm a legend. He fine. Kronk history. My ally as a team is right. Rick. Oh my god. And this is him. He was handsome. I'll say that. But damn. And it's that's fucked up. Who else? They have a picture of Jay-Z for whatever reason. It says Detroit Ave reportedly faked attempt robbery and shooting. They got a lot of crime stories. This is what I do. I be bored looking at stuff, swiping through shit. So what happened to him? Okay, so this is Paid in Full. I believe that movie is actually on Tubi. Richard Rich Porter was a Harlem drug kingpin whose life legacy and tragic end had become symbols of both the glamour and the daily consequences of the crack era in 1980s in New York City. Born on July 16th, not July 16th, July 26th, which is actually coming up, 1965, Rich grew up in a working class family and began hustling at the age of 12. By his early 20s, he was moving tens of thousands of dollars worth of cocaine weekly, often flaunting his wealth with luxury cars, designer clothes, and cashed up pockets. Alongside partners Ozzy Faison and Martinez. Sorry if I'm pronouncing his name wrong. Rich helped build a powerful street level drug operation that controlled a significant chunk of the Harlem market. But his worldwide collapsed on December 1989 when his 12-year-old brother, Donnell Porter, was kidnapped, held for a ransom, and later found murdered, his dismembered body stuffed in garbage bags and dumped in the Bronx. The heartbreak of losing his brother was followed by betrayal from within his own circle. Just weeks later, on January 3rd, 1990, Rich was gunned down and left for dead on a Bronx street, shot multiple times in the head and chest. It was later revealed that Alpo Martinez, his friend and partner, had pulled the trigger, claiming Rich had lied to him about drug profits. Rich Porter's story was immortalized in the 2002 film Paid in Full, where Mekhi Phifer portrayed him as money-making Mitch. But beyond the Hollywood version lies the real story of the young man who chased fast money, lived lavishly, and died violently, leaving behind a neighborhood forever changed by the harsh lessons of the drug trade. Okay, so this is money making rich or okay. I remember Paid in Full. Seen that movie plenty of times growing up. And here's another guy. Like I said, I'm just sharing stories. I apologize. I ain't trying to use nobody copyright. I'm just sharing these stories because they're interesting. And I like to learn about different stuff. It says Swipe. Before the fame, before the mixtapes, before the rap legend, there was the real 50 Cent. Kelvin Martin, born in Brooklyn in 1964, wasn't a kingpin or a mob boss. He was something colder. A one-man stick-up crew, a street legend born out of pure survival. In the 1980s, New York City was at war with itself. The crack epidemic turned entire neighborhoods into killing fields. Dope boys wore gold chains like armor. Crews flooded the blocks with blue tops and red tops, and death could come faster than the money. In the middle of all that stood 50 Cent, a skinny, fearless, unpredictable figure who robbed drug dealers for sport and profit. He was the type to walk into a pet club in Harlem or the Bronx and leave with somebody's chain, wallet, and pride. He wasn't flashy. He was grimy. He hit hustlers, pimps, shooters, and everyone else who had something he wanted. People said he robbed you even if you only had 50 cents. But the truth was his name became a symbol of desperation and determination, a man who took what he wanted without asking and survived off sheer reputation. He didn't run with an army. He was a lone wolf, unpredictable and dangerous, known in every borough. Even drug lords respect him because fear respects nothing but itself. But in the streets, legends don't get to grow old. In October 1987, Kelvin was shot in a stairwell of the Bronx Regal houses and later died at Harlem Hospital at just 23 years old. Rumors flew. Some said it was over a chain, others said revenge, but in the end, the streets did what they always do. They turned the man into a memory. Years later, Curtis Vincent Jackson would adopt his name, not just to honor him, but because he saw himself in him. A survivor, a fighter, a product of a war zone, Kevin Martin wasn't chasing fame. He was chasing his next score and daring anyone to stop him. Wow. And this is just pictures of Kelvin Martin, who 50 Cent got his name from. Someone saying Fort Greene legend, if you know, you know. Very cool story. I had not done my research on the real 50 before. Mm. This is some crazy but interesting stories, and I'm just clicking random ones. We getting closer to some tea. This face looks familiar. Oh, oh shit. Anthony Wolf Jones was more than just a bodyguard. He was a muscle, the enforcer, and a protector beyond the glittering empire of Bad Boy Records during his most dangerous years. A childhood friend of Puff Daddy, or P. Diddy, or No Diddy, sorry, Combs. Wolf became his right hand man, serving as head of security and quietly enforcing order behind the scenes during the volatile rise of East Coast hip hop, known in the streets as a serious figure with real weight. Wolf wasn't just some hired gun. He was embedded in both the music industry and the underworld it often mirrored. I'm sorry. In the mid 1990s, Wolf was allegedly involved in the 1995 Atlanta shooting of Big Jake Robles, sorry, a close friend of Suge Knight and a known associate of Death Row Records. Though Wolf was never convicted, the killing became a flashpoint in the East Coast West Coast feud, fueling tensions that would eventually turn deadly for Tupac Shakur and the Notorious B.I.G. Behind closed door, Wolf had reportedly invested 300,000 of his own money into Bad Boy Records in his early days, but later claimed that he was never given the stock or compensation he was promised, creating a quiet rift between him and Combs. In 1999, Wolf was caught up again when he and Diddy were arrested following a nightclub shooting in Manhattan. Though they were later acquitted of all charges, the case kept both men in the media spotlight, but Wolf's story ended violently. On November 11, 2003, he was gunned down in a parking lot in Buckhead, Atlanta, alongside another man. Some say it was street beef. Others whisper about betrayal, but no one has ever been charged. His murder remains unsolved. To this day, Anthony Wolf Jones is remembered as a real street soldier, someone who protected Diddy and his bad boy empire through years, feuds, and legal basics. His name might not appear on Platinum Records, but he played a role in shaping one of hip hop's most powerful dynasties and paid for it with his life. No shade, but this face looked familiar, and I do remember this name. And they are saying that this may be actually Justin Combs' real father. And they're trying to hear from me. Mm-mm-mm. Mm-hmm. Damn, y'all spilling all the goddamn tea, and I don't ever really. I mean, I watch shit like this on YouTube, but I don't really speak about all this crazy shit on my channel. But damn, I don't know, man. This picture, or these pictures, are a guy by the name of Ronald Rodriguez Heron, or Heron. I'm sorry. It says he wasn't just a rapper; he was a street general disguised as an artist. Raised in the gritty Gowanus houses of Brooklyn, he was knee deep in crime by 14, arrested for armed robbery, and soon baptized into a life where violence was currency and fear was power. As he got older, his name rang out not just in the projects but through New York's underground rap scene. His lyrics were raw, violent, and unapologetically real because they weren't just art, they were his truth. In the late 2000s, Rod Diggs, not Rod Digger, but Rod Diggs, had linked up with Uncle Murder and Waka Flocka, becoming part of the Murder team and dropping tracks that reflected the chaos he orchestrated in real life. But behind the mic, Haran murderous mad dog, ran the murderous mad dogs, a brutal blood subset operating the Gowanus in Brougham Hill. He wasn't just talking about shootouts and executions. He was the one giving the green lights. Fix it, Jesus. In 2010, the violence spilled into the rap industry. During the recording session, Rod Diggs got into a heated altercation with diss rapper Jim Jones. The tension then ended at the studio. According to multiple witnesses, Haran later tracked Jones to the nightclub with a full hit squad in tow. What followed was sheer chaos. Jones and his entourage saw them coming and immediately fled, narrowly avoiding what could have been a bloody hit on a high profile artist. It was a glimpse into how deadly Rod Diggs could be, someone who blurred the line between rap beef and real world warfare. What? So damn, he's trying to kill Jim Jones? What the fuck is going on with this hip hop shit? Y'all got a lot of shit being aired out. The same year, federal agents moved in. Heron was arrested in a Haran. I keep saying Heron. I mean, Haran was arrested in a vehicle loaded with heroin, a firearm, and uh, body armor. What the fuck? The indictment was massive: 21 counts, including three murders, drug trafficking, racketeering, and multiple murder attempts. The feds didn't just bring evidence; they brought his own lyrics and music videos into court, arguing that his art was actually the confession in disguise. In 2014, Rod Diggs was convicted on every count. A year later, the judge slammed him with 12 life sentences plus 105 years. He now resides in ADX Florence, the most secure prison in America, home to terrorists, cartel bosses, and the country's most dangerous criminals. Well, I'll be damned. What the fuck is this? Huh? Here we go with another person relating to some Biggie Smalls and some Biggie Smalls stuff. Somebody by the name of David Mack. David Mack was once a respected LAPD officer, but behind the badge, he lived a double life that blurred the line between law enforcement and organized crime. Former fact, a former track star turned cop, Mack was deeply connected into notorious Rampart division scandal where road officers were involved in drugs, beatings, and murder. He was also a known member of the corrupt police cliques operating inside the department and tied to the mob Proud Bloods, a violent gang based in Compton. His name became infamous after he pulled off a bold 722,000 robbery of the Bank of America branch in 1997, a crime that shocked the city and revealed the depth of LAPD corruption. Mack was also close to Death Row Records founder Suge Knight, with strong allegations linking him to Knight's inner circle as hired muscle and protection. Some even believe Mack played a role in the murder of Notorious B.I.G., fueling theories that LAPD officers are on Suge Knight's payroll. Today, David Mack remains one of the most controversial and dangerous figures to ever wear an LAPD uniform, a cop who moved like a gangster. So, okay, so that's very little information. So, is he in jail? Is he dead? What happened? I don't know. They saying The Rock is following them. Okay. Majority of these crime scenes had something to do with hip hop. This is Wardell Pucci Faust, who was a ruthless mob Pearl Bloods gang member in Compton, widely feared for his willingness to carry out brutal violence on behalf of those he was loyal to. Most notably, Death Row Records CEO Suge Knight, as a trusted enforcer within Suge's inner circle. Faust earned a deadly reputation of executing hits that blurred the lines between gang warfare and the music industry's power struggles. One of the most notorious alleged murders was the 2002 assassination of William Rat Dog Ratcliffe, a former death row associate and one-time friend of Shook who had fallen out of favor. Rat Dog was gunned down in Compton, reportedly at the request of Suge Knight, with Fowles believed to have been the triggerman. But Fowles' name would become even more infamous when retired LAPD detective Greg Ketting identified him as the alleged shooter in the March 9, 1997 murder of the notorious B.I.G., a high-profile hit allegedly arranged through Suge's girlfriend who paid Fowles $13,000 to carry it out. Fowles was never charged in either case. On July 21st, 2003, he was murdered in Compton while riding his motorcycle, likely the result of ongoing gang feud. Simonson, a key figure in two of hip hop's most notorious unsolved killings. So some are claiming multiple people was involved in Biggie's murder. Some claiming multiple people was involved in Tupac murder. Will we ever get the truth of who killed who and who was involved in what? I'm just reading. Mm. I don't know if I could play this video, but there. All right, so this is a picture of somebody by the name of Orlando Baby Lane Anderson. I remember this name. Was a Southside Compton Crip who became infamous for his suspect involvement in the murder of rap icon Tupac Shakur. Y'all just naming a whole bunch of people saying they're involved in the deaths of these people. Born in 1974 in Compton, California, Ensign was raised in the neighborhood riddled with gang activity and violence, eventually aligning himself with the Southside Crips at a young age. His name exploded into the national spotlight on September 7, 1996, after a violent altercation inside the MGM Grand in Las Vegas, where Tupac and members of Death Row Records, including Suge Knight, beat Anderson in retaliation for an earlier robbery involving a Death Row affiliate. Just hours after being Tupac was shot multiple times in a drive-by shooting, and Anderson quickly became a prime suspect, although he was never officially charged due to the lack of evidence and cooperation. Despite his repeated denials, law enforcement and street rumors constantly pointed to him as a triggerman. Anderson maintained his innocence until his death in the Compton shootout in 1998. at just 23 years old. His name remains deeply entangled in one of hip hop's most tragic and controversial unsolved murders, and his story continues to stir debate in the world of rap and true crime. Lord, 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 Lord. Now they over here selling Ti business. Clifford T.R. Harris, the Grammy-winning rapper from Atlanta, was arrested on October 2007 after a string operation led by the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosive (ATF). The case unfolded when his bodyguard was caught attempting to purchase unregistered machine guns and silencers on T.I.'s behalf, a serious offense since T.I. was a convicted felon at the time. He was taken into custody just hours before the BT Hip Hop Awards with multiple firearms found in his vehicle and home. In 2008, T.I. pled guilty to federal weapons charges and struck a plea deal that required him to complete 1,000 hours of community service, including speaking to youth about the dangers of crime and violence. He later served a year in federal prison, followed by home confinement and supervised release. The case became one of the most high profile celebrity gun cases of its time. Okay. Okay, this one talk about two different people. I don't know who's who because it's 3 minutes pictures, so I don't know who the fuck is who. I ain't gonna do this one. This fella, I said this fella. I mean, this fellow is Demencio Montana Benson. He was a charismatic and ambitious drug lord from Brooklyn who rose to prominence during the height of the crack epidemic in the 1980s. Born and raised in Weeksville Gardens, his early life was marked by trauma and hardship, which helped mold him into a savvy hustler with a sharp mind for business. Known for his good looks and charm, Benson quickly made a name for himself in the drug game, expanding his operation from Brooklyn to Washington, D.C. His growing power and connections eventually brought him to conflict with notorious Harlem dealer Alpo Martinez. Wasn't I just speaking about him? In a shocking act of betrayal, Alpo lured Demencio into a basketball game in D.C. where he was ambushed and murdered by hitman Wayne Silk Perry. I guess y'all know about this and paid in full as well. Cause yeah, ain't I believe that Alpo person ain't that somebody from Paid in Full? As believe I just read earlier. Anywho, all right. So yeah, he was ambushed and murdered by hitman Wayne Silk Perry. Benson's death became one of the most infamous killings of the crack era, symbolizing the daily rivalries and cold-blooded betrayals that defined this time. Today, he's remembered as a legendary figure in Brooklyn street history, respected, feared, and ultimately betrayed by those he once called allies. And that is Demencio Montana Benson. Lord have mercy. Let me see. Wasn't did I just search up paid in full? So I'm guessing they changed the names around. Yeah, I'm guessing they changed the names around because they didn't want to get in trouble. Or y'all know how these movies is. All right, so I guess I'll share this and read to y'all about Paid in Full, as if ain't nobody already see the movie. So we know it's a 2002 American crime drama filmed by Charles Stone on the third from a screenplay by Michael Saronic and Thorny Davis. It stars Wood Harris, Mackay Pfizer, and Cameron, and is loosely based on the lives of drug dealers Ozzy Faison, Rich Porter, and Alpo Martinez. In this film, Ace Harris rise up in the Harlem drug trade while battling rivals, conspiring to bring about his fall. So I'm pretty sure there's a lot. I mean, I'm pretty sure y'all may know who's who or who's based on who. I'm still trying to figure which character is based on who. The only one I know is I'm guessing. Um. So Makai Pfizer character is based on um. Hold the hell up. So this movie was produced by Damon Dash, Jay Z, and somebody. I mean, Azzy Faison. But hold on. See, I forgot something. Hold the hell up. Let me see. No, I'm over here doing bios and shit. All right, I'm lost. So I'm guessing this guy is from my understanding. I'm guessing this Ozzy Faison is supposed to be based off of Wood. I mean, well, Wood Harris' character is supposed to be based on him. Yeah, so I'm guessing Wood Harris' character is based off of Ozzy Faison. Or Azzy. Whatever the hell. Okay, yeah. So Wood Harris' character is based off of Azzy Faison. Rich Porter is Makai Pfeiffer character, and then Alpo Martinez must be Cameron character. And down here, it just say that the only person that say is okay. Um. All right, now it's making sense. So they switched the name to Ace, uh, instead of AZ. Uh, Makai Fighter character name is Mitch instead of Rich, and Cameron character is Rico instead of Alpo. Okay, I'm gonna have to watch this damn movie because I ain't see damn Paid in Full in a long time. Yeah, I ain't see Paid in Full in a long time. So the plot of Paid Full is Ace is a young man living it with his mom and sister in Harlem working a dead end job at the dry cleaning shop. His sister Dora's boyfriend Calvin is a successful cocaine dealer, while Ace's close friend Mitch is a flashy, popular drug dealer. Despite both of them promising the life of easy money, expensive cars, and women, Ace decides to live a law-abiding life. While at work, Ace finds some cocaine in one of his customers' pants. The customer, Lulu, is a cocaine supplier who lets Ace keep the drug. When Calvin gets arrested on drug charges, Ace runs into one of his customers and easily sells him the cocaine for $100. Impressed, Ace goes back to Lulu for more cocaine to sell. Lulu is a top quality supply. Lulu has a top quality supply of cocaine, which Ace sells on the street at a cheap price, quickly luring away customers from other drug dealers. Ace starts wholesaling his product to other dealers in the neighborhood, believing everyone can make money and be happy. Meanwhile, Mitch is arrested for murder. When a fight breaks out between Mitch and another inmate, Mitch is aided by East Harlem inmate Rico, who impresses Mitch by his ferocity and show of support. Mitch is able to beat his murder charge, and both he and Rico join Ace drug empire when released from prison. The trio became wealthy, buying foreign cars, jewelry, and expensive champagne. Ace maintains a low profile. Mitch returns to his life as a popular hustler, while Rico is a ruthless enforcer who worries Ace with his overzealous, high profile behavior. When Ace goes to Lulu's apartment, he finds Lulu dead and takes his diamonds. After Lulu's death, Ace goes directly to his supplier for cocaine. When Calvin is released from prison, Ace agrees to give him product to sell in his old drug spot, but Calvin quickly becomes dissatisfied with what he feels is a marginal position. When Ace refuses to let Calvin run his old block, Calvin retaliates by attempting to rob Ace at his aunt June's apartment, holding June and Dora hostage. When Ace is unable to open the safe, June and Dora are executed by Calvin as another associate shoots Ace in the head, leaving him for dead. Ace arrives as his girlfriend Keisha gives birth to his baby the same night. Feeling the physical and psychological effects of the shooting, Ace decides to quit the drug trade. Rico tries to assuage it's what the fuck Assange. What the fuck? I'm sorry, y'all. Y'all know I be pronouncing shit wrong. Ace concerns by revealing that he killed Calvin to show potential enemies that the organization is strong. Ace strongly disagrees with Rico initiative and remains steadfast in his decision to retire. Mitch understands Ace's perspective that the drug game does not reciprocate any love or generosity. Mitch decides to stay in the drug game because he loves the hustle, comparing himself to professional basketball players that continue to chase glory despite having enough money to retire. Ace decides to let Mitch and Rico take over, vowing to introduce Mitch to his drug supplier. While Ace is recovering, Mitch's kid brother Sonny is kidnapped for ransom. Mitch reaches out to Ace, who provides him with enough cocaine to pay Sonny's ransom and allow Mitch and Rico to resume business. Mitch enlists Rico to help sell the cocaine to pay the ransom, but Rico instead kills him and steals the cocaine. Suspicious Ace questions Rico, who claims he had not seen Mitch the day he was killed. Ace knows he's lying and settles the issue by giving him the contact to a pair of undercover FBI agents he had spoken to and avoided previously. Rico is arrested and is last seen in custody, giving up information on his drug connections in Washington, D.C. in order to avoid a 25 to life sentence. He refuses to inform on anyone in Harlem intending to reclaim his position when he is eventually released from prison. Sonny's kidnapping and subsequent murder were orchestrated by his own uncle, who resented Mitch for not providing him with money and for kicking him out of his family's apartment. Ace retreats from the criminal underworld and makes a new life for himself and his family using Lulu's diamonds. What in the hell? Well, that's paid in full for you. That is paid in full for you. And then I could click on these random names and get the full life or what. All right. So I just read about him. It's a picture of Porter in 1989, Richard Thomas Porter, July 26, 1965, New York City, January 3rd, 1990, age 24, New York City, Cause of death, murder, gunshot wounds. Other names: Money Richie Rich, drug kingpin. He's deceased. His children is Danelle Whiten, Rashonda Porter, and Rhea Porter. He got convictions: 1984 drug possession, 1984 weapons possession, 1 year prison sentence. Okay. This is not supposed to be a crime story. I just got stuck reading a whole bunch of crime shit. I don't want my channel to turn to a crime channel, but hey. Okay, he was an American drug kingpin and gangster who rose to prominence in the Harlem neighborhood of New York City during the crack era in the mid 1980s. The 2002 film Pan in Full was based on Rich and his partners. I'm gonna just say AZ Faison and Alpo Martinez. He was born in the Harlem section of New York City. Porter was the oldest of three children born to Velma Porter. He had a younger sister, Patricia, born 1966, and brother. Okay, so I can only imagine how old would he be if he was still alive, because he was born in 1965. Hmm. He'd probably be in his 60s by now. Um, and then brother William Donnell, born 1977. I guess he died 1990. Porter began selling drugs at the age of 12, rising through the ranks of the drug trade in Harlem. He became known for his flamboyant and high-profile lifestyle. He was rumored to have never worn the same outfit twice, and that he owned over a dozen luxury vehicles that he kept in the garage in Manhattan during the height of his career as a drug dealer. Okay. He was murdered on January 3rd, 1990, and his body was found in the vicinity of Orchard Beach, Bronx, the following day. Porter had been shot several times in the head and chest, and at the time of his death, police found $2,239, equivalent to $5,446 in 2024, in his pocket. Porter's friend and former drug dealing partner, Martinez, was charged with the murder and was later convicted. On December 5th, 1989, Porter's 12-year-old brother, William Porter, was kidnapped in Harlem on his way to school. The kidnappers cut William's finger all off in order to extort 500,000, later lowered to 350,000 in ransom money from Rich. William was eventually killed, and his body was found on January 28, 1990, a mile away from where Rich body was found less than 1 month after Rich murder. Hold the fuck up. So, y'all telling me that, from what I'm hearing, the brother was killed first, then eventually the little brother was killed first, then Rich was killed, and the little brother's body was found not too far from where Rich was killed. less than a month after Rich murder. William and Rich maternal uncle Johnny Apple Porter was found to be responsible for William's kidnapping and murder. What the fuck? Really? Uh. Well, let's see who Alpo Martinez is and what the fuck he look like. You damn murderer. So, Alpo Martinez, Alberto Geddes Martinez, or Geddes, I don't fucking know. He was born June 8th, 1966 in New York City. He died October 31st, 2001 at the age of 55 in New York City. His names is Alpo Martinez, Alpo Poe Abraham G. Rodriguez. The fuck? He is a drug lord. His criminal status is he's deceased. His convictions is murder, conspiracy to commit murder, various drug charges, 14 counts, one count, several counts, penalty, 35-year sentence. They apprehended November 6th, 1991. Um, mm-mm-mm. So this guy with all these different names, using fake names for witness protection. Let me be quiet. This man is no longer here. Let me be quiet and just read the story. But anyway, Alberto Geddes Martinez, better known as Alpo Martinez, Abraham G. Rodriguez, witness protection, or more simply as Alpo or Poe, June 8th, 1966, October 31st, 2021, was an American drug dealer from Harlem, New York City, of Puerto Rican descent. But ain't he the one Cameron portrayed? Cameron ain't Puerto Rican, not that I know of. But anyway, um, he rose to prominence in the mid 1980s. In addition to New York, Martinez expanded his drug trade to other cities, notably Washington D.C. Fix it, Jesus. I'm gonna read all of this, cause watch this. This is crazy. Martinez started selling drugs at 14 years old in East Harlem. In 1985, he met West Side Harlem drug dealer I'm gonna say AZ Faison. Martinez started to move up the chain of drug dealers in Harlem and eventually became one of the biggest drug dealers in the city. Martinez later moved to Washington, D.C. to expand operations, where he quickly became involved in the city's underground and elevated his drug activities. He met Wayne Silk Perry, a notorious drug dealer and D.C. enforcer who would later become his bodyguard and hitman. Fix it, Jesus. On November 7, 1991, Martinez was arrested in Washington, D.C. for selling drugs. He was charged with conspiracy to commit murder, various drug charges, and 14 counts of murder, including the murder of former friend and drug dealing partner Rich Porter. DC drug dealer Michael Anthony Salters, aka Frey, and Brooklyn drug dealer Demencio Benson. Facing the possibility of either the death penalty or life imprisonment without the possibility of parole, Martinez turned informant and testified against members of his organization. Snitch bitch. For his testimony against Perry, who received five consecutive life sentences without the possibility of parole, Martinez was sentenced to 35 years in prison. He was released in 2015. Martinez was released in 2015 while serving a 25-year sentence for 14 counts of murder at ADX Florence, a federal supermax prison located in Fremont County, Colorado. He was released after testifying against former associates and had been living under the United States Witness Protection Program in Lewiston, Maine, under the assumed name Abraham G. Rodriguez until shortly before his death in 2021. According to the website, Martinez was in the Federal Witness Protection Program awaiting a new identity. On the morning of October 31st, 2021 at 3:30 a.m., Martinez was fatally shot 5 times in Harlem, New York, while seated in his 2017 Dodge Ram, according to various media outlets, including the Source Magazine, Hot 97, All Hip Hop, and the New York Times. Shaquem Parker was later charged with his murder. Shaquem Parker, 30, who was arrested on February 2022 and charged with the slaying of Martinez, was acquitted on July 13, 2024 in New York. Several media outlets reported that Martinez was killed over a road rage incident. Martinez was okay. Martinez was portrayed by rapper and actor Cam'ron in the 2002 film Paid in Full, which was based on the criminal exploits of Martinez, Faison, and Porter. Martinez was referenced in several hip-hop and rap songs, including 50 Cent, Ghetto Quran, Big L, American Dream, Bodega Band's Bam Bam, Cam'ron Double Up, Don Trip and Starlito, Caesar and Brutus, Drake Talk Up featuring Jay-Z, Eastside 80 Alpo, El Camino, Venice Beach featuring Benny the Butler, alias Alpo Martinez. Hold the fuck up. Oh, so I guess he was a rapper. Freddie gives in. Freddie gives in Medib, Pumalev featuring Pusha P and Killer Mike, Future in Her Mouth. I don't know why these rappers is mentioning this guy, but hey, the Game Money, the Game My Life, Jay-Z La Familia, K Kobe, Why Not, Lil Boosie Betrayed, Lucky Made My Day, Meek Mill Rich Porter, Meek Mill Tony Story, Mrs. Deep My Mind Right remix, My Son's whatever, however it's pronounced, freestyle on Funk Flex Hot 97, Nas Memory Lane Sitting in the Park. So y'all really like to mention murderers and all types of shit in y'all raps. Nas incident murderers or accident murderers. I'm sorry. Paparazzi Po Alpo, Pusha T Fifer, Shad or Shed the God, Rich and Alpo, Sean That's Gangsta, Uncle Murder wrap up in 2021, Young Treflon and K Trap Alpo, G Twilight and Maserati Rick Jr. Keep 'em close. Aisha Scanner, Jim Jones My Diary, Clavish Deli Duppy Freestyle, Scam Jones Memory Lane 2009 featuring Doo Wop and Nature and Central C and 21 Savage GBP. There's a lot of songs that's mentioning this guy, but okay. And then you have AZ Faison. Did I read his? No, I think I clicked on his, but I don't think I read his. I don't know why I'm reading these, but anyway, I guess I'll just continue. I'm just bored over here doing research on whatever. It is what it is. Not saying that I'm fully interested and I want to do shit like this, but I just so happen to be looking on Instagram, searching up stuff, and now I'm over here doing the whole research on people from Paid in Full. The hell? So AZ or Azzy, whatever the fuck it, Azil Faison Jr. I'm guessing is his name. He was born November 10th, 1964. Sometimes known by the nickname AZ, is a American farmer, drug dealer, and businessman from. So you're the only one that's still living? Because it seemed like everybody else and got killed. So yup, it seemed like you the only one that's still living. Interesting. So which one were you? I done forgot already. Oh no, he the one who left the drug game. I'm guessing. All right, so AZ Faison Jr. All right, okay. He's a former drug dealer and businessman from Harlem, New York City. He attained notoriously, notoriously during the war on drugs era as an individual drug dealer during the 1980s. His 5-year reign as a drug kingpin ended in 1989. Okay, so yeah, you must be who Wood Harris was supposed to play. I keep forgetting all fans. Born in New York City, Faison turned from selling drugs to advising youth in impoverished neighborhoods to avoid the lures of drug trafficking. Faison formed the hip hop group Mob Style, where he released an album as a member of in the 1990s, as well as a solo release. He has also been subject to various dramatic portrayals, with his legacy serving as inspiration for rap songs, documentaries, books, and notably the 2002 film Paid in Full. Well, I don't know about no documentaries and books and shit, because I don't be reading a lot of crime stories. Faison was born to 7 children in New York City on November 10th, 1964, to Margaret Rogers and his senior. He lived with his single mother and six siblings in the Bronx neighborhood until 1970, where at the age six, a fire destroyed their tenement. After staying in the shelter for 6 months, his family were then forced to relocate to the Sugar Hill neighborhood in Harlem. Faison, who struggled academically, dropped out of high school following ninth grade and worked at several odd jobs around Harlem, including a 2 year stint at a local dry cleaners. Okay, I'm pretty sure a lot of you know the story, whether you did your research or watched Pay the Fool. After attending a screening of the 1983 film Scarface, Faison was influenced to enter the drug trade and later that year established a working relationship with a local Dominican supplier who would frequently go to the dry cleaners. By the time he turned 21, Faison would transition to becoming a cocaine wholesaler in Harlem, reportedly earning 40,000 a week or more. He would eventually expand operations until 1990 and become one of the most notable distributors during the war on drugs era in the United States. During this, he would become reintroduced to Rich Porter, a childhood friend who lived in the neighborhood prior to serving the sentence in prison. After his release, Porter would introduce Alpo Martinez to Faison, and the trio worked to expand operations in order to rise and become the largest distributors of cocaine in the state of New York. However, Faison's downfall began in 1987 in the early hours of August 21st, 2000. I said 2000. 1987. Faison was a victim of attempted murder after a robbery when Ari at his aunt's house, which served as one of his stash houses at 1295 Grand Con- Concourse in Morrisania, what section of the Bronx, which left three people dead and three others seriously injured. Faison was shot a total of 9 times in the robbery attempt and caused the drug network to falter as he aimed to recover from his injuries. This caused severe strains in the relationship between Faison, Porter, and Martinez, with the latter eventually murdering Porter in 1990 and subsequently being arrested and convicted for a plethora of charges in 1991. After Porter's death, Faison effectively retired from drug dealing and adopted a mission to steer youth away from the lure of drugs. In 1989, he formed a rap group called Mobstyle, which then transitioned to a conscious hip hop group. It released the album in 1991, while Faison also released a solo album. Faison also aimed to extend his outreach to television media, eventually working on a autobiographical movie. The movie Top Handful was released in 2002 with Faison being portrayed by Wood Harris. Faison also collaborated with street documentarian Terry Reed in order to produce a documentary about his life called Game Over, while also working with Asia. I don't know what the fuck that say. In order to write Game Over: The Rise and Transformation of a Harlem Hustler. The documentary and book were both released in 2007 with. All right, I'm about to read all of that. I guess I'll whenever I get some more money, I will try to find the book and see what he say. Cause I like to read. Anywho, I read enough. So that's all. That's the story about the men from Paid in Full. But watching Paid in Full, you have Kevin Carroll as Calvin, Esai Morales as Louis Lulu Lujano, Chai McBride as Pip, Remo Green as Sonny, Cynthia Martell's as Dora, Elise Neal as June, Regina Hall as Keisha, based on Rich Sister, Patricia Pat Porter, Ron, I'm gonna just say Ron Jones is Ace. Ron Jones is Ice, based on Porter's uncle Johnny Apple Porter, Karen Andrew as Cakes, Jonah's Chernick as detective or surgeon, Wes Williams as Mitch Friend, Rufus Crawford as Tommy, Jason Burke as Street Runner, Casey Collins as Kid Number One, Arnold Pinnock as Worry Man, Noriega as Runner, and Dougie Fresh as himself. Who was the last person I just searched up? AZF. All right, so I found a book on Amazon. Yeah, they got a lot of damn books. Uh huh. They got a lot of damn books. Mm-mm. Well, man, there's a lot of goddamn books I could read. All right, I'm gonna get back to y'all because I done read enough crime stories. What the hell was I thinking? I apologize if I was ignoring anybody in the comment section. Hello, my secret life. Once again, I do apologize if I was ignoring people. I appreciate people for coming in. I was just sitting here reading crime stories and wasn't really paying attention to the comments. Once again, I do apologize. Me, I'm about to get off here.